When someone is emotionally attached to you, 5 specific signs reveal it. And if you know what they are, you'll finally understand the difference between someone who cares and someone who's deeply connected to you. Most people miss these signs completely because they're looking for the wrong things. They think attachment is about what people say, about grand declarations. But it's not. It's about what they do, how they show up, how they treat you consistently over time. And these 5 signs reveal everything. When someone is emotionally attached to you, these patterns appear every single time. Whether it's a friend, family member, or partner, these behaviors show up, and they can't be faked long-term. By the end of this video, you'll recognize them instantly, and you'll finally see who's truly attached to you and who isn't. Before we start, like the video and subscribe to Lifebased for more insights about the patterns shaping your life and relationships. Let's get into it. Number 1. They remember the small details about you. Not just the obvious things, not just your birthday or where you work, but the small things you mentioned once in passing. Your favorite coffee order, that story you told months ago, the thing you were stressed about last week that you barely brought up. They remember because they're actually listening, because you matter enough for those details to stick. This isn't about having good memory. This is about caring enough to pay attention. When someone is emotionally attached, information about you doesn't just pass through their mind, it stays. They bring it up later in ways that surprise you. They remember your preferences without you repeating them. They recall conversations you forgot you had. This shows up in small moments. They ask about something you mentioned weeks ago. They avoid doing things they know bother you. They remember what makes you happy and try to create those moments. Because when someone is emotionally attached, these details aren't trivial. They're part of how they understand and care for you. And that level of attention doesn't come from politeness. It comes from real connection. Number 2, they make you a consistent priority. Not just when it's convenient, not just when they have free time, but regularly. They adjust their schedule to see you. They make plans with you in mind. They don't treat time with you as something that happens when nothing better comes up. You're actually important to them, and they prove it through their actions. This means they reach out to make plans. They follow through when they say they'll be there. They don't cancel on you repeatedly. When someone is emotionally attached, spending time with you isn't a favor. It's something they genuinely want, something they make happen even when life gets busy. You can feel the difference. With people who aren't attached, you're always wondering if you matter. You're always the one initiating, always working around their schedule. But with someone who's emotionally attached, you never have to question it. They show you consistently that you're a priority, not through words, through action. And that consistency is what separates real attachment from casual connection. Number 3, they notice when something's off with you. They can tell when you're not okay, even when you're trying to hide it. They pick up on changes in your energy, your tone, your behavior, and they ask about it. They check in. They don't ignore the signs or assume everything's fine just because you're saying it is. They ask if you're really okay. They don't accept the automatic, "I'm fine," if they sense something's wrong. They push gently, not in an intrusive way, but in a way that shows they care. Because they know you well enough to see through the mask, and they care enough to push past your deflection. People who aren't attached take your words at face value. If you say you're fine, they move on. But someone who's emotionally attached pays attention to what's underneath. They notice the shift, and they address it because they're invested in your well-being, not just your presence. Number 5, they're vulnerable with you. They don't keep everything surface level. They let you in. They share things they don't share with most people, their fears, their struggles, their real thoughts about things that matter to them, because emotional attachment creates safety. And when someone feels attached to you, they trust you with parts of themselves they usually keep hidden. This vulnerability looks different for everyone. Some people share their past, others talk about current struggles, some reveal dreams they're afraid to say out loud. But the common thread is that they're letting you see them, not the edited version they show most people, the real version, the uncertain, imperfect, human version. People who aren't attached keep walls up. Conversations stay polite and controlled, but someone who's emotionally attached drops those barriers. They trust you enough to be real, to admit when they're not okay, to share what they're actually thinking. And that level of openness only happens when deep attachment exists. Number 5, they show up during your hard times. Not just for the easy moments, but when things are difficult, when you're struggling, when being there for you requires effort and isn't comfortable. Because emotional attachment isn't just about enjoying someone's company when everything's good, it's about being present when it actually costs something. This shows up when you're going through loss, when you're dealing with failure, when you're not at your best. Someone who's emotionally attached doesn't disappear during these moments. They lean in. They check on you more, not less. They offer support, even when they're dealing with their own challenges. Because to them, being there for you isn't optional. It's what you do when you're attached to someone. People who aren't deeply connected fade during hard times. They're around for the good parts, but absent when you actually need them. But someone who's emotionally attached, they show up especially when it's hard, because that's when their attachment is proven. That's when it matters most. These 5 signs aren't loud. They're quiet, consistent patterns that reveal how someone actually feels about you. Remembering small details, making you a consistent priority, noticing when something's off, being vulnerable with you, showing up during hard times. When these patterns are present, you're seeing real emotional attachment, the kind that doesn't disappear when life gets complicated. And if you're seeing these signs in someone, recognize what that means. They're not just casually in your life. They're invested. They care deeply. They're attached in a way that goes beyond surface connection. Because people who show these signs are showing you something real, something rare. And when you find it, it's worth acknowledging and protecting. If you found this helpful, like the video and subscribe to Lifebased for more insights about the patterns shaping your life and relationships. Thanks for watching.